Indy 500 Films presents The Legends of the Brickyard.
1979, a year riddled with controversy after controversy, causing more battles to be fought in the courtroom instead of on the track. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins.
And I'm Larry Newber. The first hint of trouble erupted before the track even opened. Members of the new championship auto race teams, or CART, had been denied entries to the 500. Well, no sooner were the CART entrants reinstated than the famous hop-off valve controversy erupted, resulting in more than 33 cars starting the race for the first time since 1933.
And ironically, one of those CART entrants not only won the race in his second try, but has gone on to become one of the brightest young legends of the Brickyard. And now, we'll let you be the judge as we present the 1979 Indianapolis 500.
The 1979 Indianapolis 500-mile race was run in 3 hours, 8 minutes, 47 seconds. When it was over, the world knew that Rick Mears of Bakersfield, California, driving his second 500, had won all the honors. At least 300,000 fans witnessed his stirring victory in person. More than 50 million saw or heard it on worldwide television and radio. This would indicate that there is something very special about the 500. It does, in fact, have significance for many different people. It means happiness to a young woman whose husband has just won the pole position. Satisfaction in pulling those rookie stripes from the car. Frustration in missing the race lineup. Tension waiting for the weather to change. Danger for a man who has just learned how hard the turn one wall can be. But the one critical factor they all share is time. The moment one race is finished, another begins. Time moves on, relentlessly, toward that next Memorial Day weekend speed classic, which is the climax of Countdown to 500. Well, he saved that one and drove it into the pits. Larry Cannon is a very lucky young man. Danny Ungaius, veteran dragster, Indianapolis favorite. He will mend, but his car is badly bent. Still in all, the men of Gasoline Alley are used to miracles, mechanical ones at least. You've heard it before. The difficult, we do immediately. The impossible takes a little longer. Who ever heard of measuring the outside of a tire to see how it'll perform at 200 miles per hour? But the miracle workers of Gasoline Alley have no influence with the rain gods. On Sunday, the second qualifying day, the weather changed and the battle was on. A record number of entries and just 33 positions available for race day. Al Unser, he's won 4 500-mile races in a row, here and at Pocono and Ontario. The 4-lap average is 192.503 miles per hour. Get used to it, men. There's a very determined lady named Janet Guthrie now claiming a starting spot for her 3rd Indianapolis 500. 185.720. That's good for the race. There's usually one Unser waiting to see how the other is doing. Two-time Indy winner Bobby Unser is second to his brother. But after all, 500 miles is a long way to go, and anything can happen. Veteran Mike Mosley wins his starting spot. And now Tom Sneva, the two-time successive pole winner, tries for his third. 192.998 is fast time so far. Anthony Joseph Coit Jr. of Houston, Texas is heard from. You don't really suppose he's going to do something crazy like trying to win the 500 for a fifth time. Rick Mears, the last man eligible for the pole spot, takes his best shot at 4:39 in the afternoon. The wind is down. Conditions are just right. His speed of 193.736 knocks Tom Sneva into second starting spot. The jinx against three-time consecutive pole winners seems to be holding on. And Rick Mears, well, that 4-lap, 10-mile ride was worth at least $5,000. And there's the front row. Mears on the pole, Tom Sneva in the middle, Al Unser on the outside. The scramble for the pole position is over. Now, it's a matter of just making the race. Todd Gibson comes away second best in a contest with the outside wall. Billy Engelhardt hits the short chute wall and scrapes along clear into turn 2. You could say this is definitely a case of rubbing your car the wrong way. Danny Ungaius as well has a new car and is able to go 188.009 miles per hour. There's considerably more to the 500 than the race. In recent years, the Miller Pit Stop Contest has enriched the teams considerably. But Johnny Rutherford is a source of embarrassment, considering his sponsor is a rival beer company. But not to worry. In this contest, Sneva's crew beats out Rutherford. Sneva's sponsor markets prune. Now, for the first time since 1933, qualifying is extended to more than the traditional 33 cars. Billy Vukovich wins the 34th spot. George Snyder is next. 185.319 is good for the race. They'll start 35 cars on race day. One last chance to make the show. And now, even that is gone.
Bill Alsop was disqualified for using the same engine that Penske teammate Bobby Unser had already used. He attempted another run, but an accident on that effort kept Alsop out of the starting lineup.
It's sort of like going to the office in the morning. The thing that makes this job unique, however, is that thousands upon thousands of people show up to watch you work. Al Unser forges ahead. Sneva takes up second, and Rick Mears settles into third. She hasn't come around. There she is, slowing down in turn 3 and heading for the pits. Now it's Al Unser, Mears, Sneva. The front row still dominates.
Al Unser's strong run in '79 came in Jim Hall's newly designed Chaparral chassis. The Chaparral was the forerunner of a new design that remains as the standard format in IndyCar racing today. That design? Ground effects.
Al Unser widens the gap. On the third time around, he turned the fastest leading lap of the race, 192.143. Jim McElreath heads in with a burned piston. George Snyder is smoking, a burnt valve. Danny Ungaya, starting in 27th position, has now moved up into the top 10. Al Unser has now begun to lap the field. It's Johnny Parsons, son of the 1950 winner. He's out. Another burnt valve. Heavy traffic continues. There's still some 25 cars in contention. Ungayas makes a fast stop on the 24th lap. Lee Kunzman smoking and heading for the pits. Still Al Unser, Rick Mears, Tom Sneva, and Bobby Unser. It's hard to believe this balancing act. Wally Dallenbach has lost a wheel, but he comes in on only 2. The left front is in the air. The right rear hub is dragging. Al still dominates, but Rick is never very far behind. Bobby leads from the 70th through the 73rd lap. It's lap 94. Voigt's engine died as he came in, and he wants the crew to push him. It takes 53 precious seconds, but he's running again. Trouble for Johnny Rutherford. His crew rebuilds his transmission while John sits in the car and waits. Al leads in heavy traffic, and there's smoke coming from the rear of his car. It gets worse. Into the pits for help. It looks like the 1979 500 will belong to someone besides Mary Unser's youngest son. Vern Schupin is out. Now teammate Bobby Unser and Rick Mears battle for first. In the 124th lap, they pit together. 13 seconds for fuel only. Back they go, and Bobby keeps the lead. And Tom Sneva is coming in with a dead engine. He rolls into his pit for a restart, but he's dropped to 5th. The race still belongs to Bobby Unser. Mears behind him. Foyt is 3rd. Ungaius 4th, and somewhere in the confusion is Mike Mosley. A fast stop for Sneva in the 152nd lap. Turn 2, Larry Rice almost keeps it off the wall. It's the 156th lap. Green for go. Larry Rice's car sits in the infield, and Bobby still dominates. Mears and Ungaius battle for 3rd. Bobby Unser is slowing down. He's lost his top gear, and now Rick Mears is the leader. The Mears gang. As a family, they've been winning off-road races for years. Mother, Skip, and sister Robin, wife Dina, brother Roger out in California, and dad, Bill. Now Tom Sneva tries to play catch-up. Approaching turn 4, something breaks. The field is under the caution light. Sneva, shaken and frustrated, is okay, and it looks like a trophy dash is in the making. In the 195th lap, the green comes out. Rick leads. Bobby is down 1 lap, and A.J. Foyt is still within striking distance of a 5th win. There he goes, but there's lots of traffic between him and Mears, and now there's less than 5 laps to go. Laps, the white flag. In turn 3, Mosley passes Mears to unlap himself. There it is, the checker. The off-road star from California has done it, and on his 2nd try. Foyt slowing down, coasting. Can he make it to the finish line before Mosley catches him? Well, 2nd is not 1st, but not bad for a man going 50 miles per hour. Mike Mosley flies by, taking 3rd. Foyt rolls to the end of the pits, and for the moment, the attention of the crowd is focused on the crusty veteran from Houston. He seems to have mellowed somewhat. He's certainly come a long way since that faraway day in 1958, when car owner Al Dean put an arm around him and said, "It's okay, kid. There'll be other races."
Rick Mears can certainly brag about having one of the best finishing records at Indy in modern history. In the 5 years after his '79 win, he would fail to place in the top 5 only once.
A little earlier, it was mentioned that race day for the drivers was sort of like going to the office, except that a lot of people watched you work. Rick Mears didn't seem to mind all those people looking over his shoulder, and if he was feeling self-conscious about making racing history, he didn't let it show. But as the afternoon and evening following the race wore on, his hand hurt from being shaken, his back hurt from pats given by exuberant race fans, and he began to understand that his life had changed forever. For that's the way it is when a man wins the 500. He has achieved the highest pinnacle of success in his chosen profession. And for the rest of his life, he'll be just a little taller, his step a little firmer, His smile a little brighter, his confidence a little stronger. For he is a champion and has earned his fame. Of course, $270,401 helps to make it all worthwhile. But Rick Mears must now come down from Cloud 9, for the clock is running again. And already, they've started the next countdown to 500.
Well, Rick Mears added 2 more IndyCar wins in 1979 to become the first kart national driving champion. And he became only the 10th driver in Indianapolis history to win the 500 from the pole position.
One of the best drives of that race came from second-generation driver Billy Vukovich. Vuki, who was one of the 2 additional starters, started 34th and finished 8th. That also marked his 5th top 10 finish in 8 years, though he was never able to duplicate his father's winning feat in the 500. I'm Bob Jenkins.
And I'm Larry Newbert. By the way, Howdy Holmes locked up the rookie honors with a 7th place finish. Actually, he was the only rookie to make the 1979 Indianapolis 500. Well, be with us again for our continuing look at the legends of the Brickyard.